I can't take the WNBA serious anymore. They hate their only cash cow in Caitlin Clark. This is the only league on earth where the players have dated each other. Now they fined Caitlin Clark and Ryan Howard $30 apiece for just jawing at each other on the court.
The WNBA has once again revealed its double standards, this time fining Caitlin Clark for the supposed offense of defending herself in a heated moment with Atlanta Dream's Ryan Howard. In a league that says it empowers strong women, it seems that strength is only acceptable under certain circumstances, ones that shift depending on the player involved. This episode highlights the league's uneven discipline and disturbing tendency to penalize passion while turning a blind eye to deeper issues in women's basketball.
You know, there'll be the big talked about moment, Ryan Howard, Caitlin Clark, jawing back and forth. But there's another example, right? Clark in that moment saying, I'm not scared of you. No, I'm not afraid. Then give her a sarcastic thump.
The tension boiled over during the Indiana Fever's rematch against the Atlanta Dream, with emotions flaring as both teams fought fiercely for dominance. Just 2 days earlier, the Fever had endured a tough loss to Atlanta, and Thursday night's showdown at State Farm Arena offered a shot at redemption. With 17,044 fans filling the arena, many paying top dollar to see Caitlin Clark in action, the atmosphere was electric and primed for high-stakes drama.
What was that about, man? She was saying, don't do that again. But I'm trying to figure out why she gets so mad. I guess because of the push right there. Kind of like a get off me a little bit. But she's holding it right there. Look at the hand checking, right? We got the hand checking going on the hip. Putting it on the chest. How you hand checking? You can't hand check. This isn't the 80s. What are we doing? Hold on, man. She's hand checking right here. Then Caitlin trying to get by, right? But her hand's still there.
What unfolded was both a showcase of elite basketball and a telling snapshot of the WNBA's current political landscape. In Indiana's hard-fought 81-76 win, Caitlin Clark squared off in a tense moment with Atlanta's Ryan Howard. It was a flashpoint that would shape not only the game, but also the league's reaction to competitive intensity. The confrontation captured exactly what fans crave from top-tier athletes in a high-stakes matchup: grit, passion, and the raw emotion that makes basketball so thrilling to watch.
I just don't know what it is about giving Caitlin Clark foul calls that has the referees so averse, but calling more on her. And basketball is so mental. Like, when you get into someone's head, it can really mess the rest of their game up. It can mess the momentum up.
Howard, eager to assert control and possibly unsettle the league's most high-profile player, initiated contact that pushed past the usual limits of basketball physicality. But rather than retreat or look to the officials for help, Clark held her ground with the trademark toughness that's defined her career. In a moment that should have been praised as a display of elite competitiveness, Clark stared Howard down and delivered a line that captured her fearless spirit perfectly. "I'm not scared of you."
And in case you're wondering what Caitlin Clark said just there was, "I'm not scared of you." She's going to have to wear a hard hat this season. I mean, seriously. The league is going to try to take her out in every game.
The crowd roared in response to this raw display of competitive spirit, exactly the kind of energy that makes professional sports must-watch entertainment. This was basketball in its purest form. Two top-tier athletes pushing each other to the edge, neither backing down. It was the kind of moment that builds iconic rivalries and ignites fan passion. But in today's WNBA, standing your ground apparently comes with a cost. What followed exposed everything flawed about the league's current stance on discipline and player management. Instead of applauding Clark's intensity or acknowledging the moment as a natural part of the game, the WNBA chose to penalize her reaction to Howard's aggression. The $30 fine may be minor financially, but the message it sends is far from small. This decision raises serious questions about what the WNBA truly expects from its players. The league brands itself as a platform for strong, fearless women who won't be pushed around. Its marketing celebrates empowerment, grit, and elite-level toughness. But when one of its biggest stars demonstrates exactly that, in real time, the league responds with a fine and a quiet rebuke.
I did really enjoy seeing the return of Trash Talk Caitlin Clark. because sometimes people forget, like, it's a fun little extra add-on of her game. She and Ryan Howard got into it a bit early, where Ryan Howard was like, "You're in Atlanta," and Caitlin was like,
Timing of this punishment speaks volumes. All season long, Caitlin Clark has faced relentless physicality from opponents more focused on testing her toughness than playing clean basketball. From Angel Reese's ongoing social media jabs to the repeated hard fouls and tense encounters that have become routine for Clark, she has consistently responded with professionalism and restraint. Yet the moment she finally asserts herself, choosing words over retaliation, the league decides she's crossed some arbitrary line. This kind of selective enforcement sets a troubling precedent for how the WNBA treats competitive fire. The league seems content to let months of social media sniping, passive-aggressive comments, and orchestrated drama play out unchecked. Players are free to throw shade, post cryptic digs, and subtly chip away at each other's reputations with no pushback. But when one player delivers a direct, honest statement in the middle of a high-intensity game, that's what earns a fine.
Now fans are petitioning for the All-Star game to not be held in Indiana because it's clearly not safe. There's a petition for Dave Portnoy to never be able to attend WNBA games. There is a petition for Caitlin Clark to be arrested. I'm not joking when I say this. Arrested. This is something that has also gone viral on social media. And I'm only bringing this up because the WNBA pays attention to what's going on social media. So if they're paying attention to it, I'm following what the league is saying. Like what the precedents that the league is setting, I'm following that because I'm covering the league. If they're going to pay attention to viral things on social media, I guess we have to.
The most concerning part of this situation isn't the fine itself. It's what the fine symbolizes in the larger picture of WNBA discipline. The league has shown a clear pattern of inconsistent enforcement, where the consequences seem more influenced by which players are involved than by the nature of the incidents. This double standard creates a two-tiered system that erodes trust and sends mixed signals about what kind of behavior is actually acceptable. Take, for example, the stark difference in how the league responded to Clark's straightforward in-game exchange with Howard compared to its handling of other ongoing issues. Angel Reese has spent months waging what amounts to a sustained campaign against Clark, using social media to rehash old plays and stir up drama. Despite this being a persistent distraction, there's been no fine, no warning, and seemingly no concern from league leadership about how this behavior reflects on the WNBA. The message is loud and clear. Passive aggression, online feuds, and performative controversy are fair game. But speaking directly and competitively on the court is somehow beyond the pale. This upside-down disciplinary approach favors false harmony over real competitive edge, fostering a climate where players are subtly pushed to air grievances online instead of resolving them face-to-face, like true professionals.
$366,000 right here. Let's see if we can get a closer look at this card. It's a good-looking card. I'm not going to lie to you. Wow, that's bananas.
Did you catch that $366,000 price on Caitlin Clark's rookie card? No, that's not a mistake. Someone actually dropped more cash on her card than most people spend on a home. This isn't just a record, it's a whole new benchmark, surpassing Serena Williams' previous record for women's sports cards. So, what's the takeaway? Caitlin Clark isn't just making waves in the WNBA, she's the wave.
Let's talk about Caitlin Clark, and once again, proving that she is the driving force.
The numbers don't lie. While some might downplay her impact, that $366,000 speaks volumes, louder than any critic ever could. And wait until you hear what experts predict her cards could be worth in just a few months. It's staggering.
Once again, showcasing that when it comes to everybody else, they are a distant second. Who that is for sure in women's sports, I don't know. But at this point, it's pretty clear Caitlin Clark is driving the bus and driving the sales.
So, what's behind the jaw-dropping price tag? This isn't just any Caitlin Clark card. It's a 2024 Panini Prism WNBA Signatures Gold Vinyl Prism rookie card, graded PSA Gem Mint 10. And here's the kicker. It's a one of one, the only card like it in existence.
Every time Caitlin Clark, one of her trading cards, one of her sports cards breaks a record, and we've got a new one, and it is freaking ridiculous. I mean, this is crazier than hell. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Pause and think about that for a moment. In a world where thousands of sports cards are printed daily, this one card is completely unique. It's no surprise collectors shelled out $366,000 for it. That's not just some spare change, it's life-changing money for most people.
A new record for any women's sports card. Final sale in this 2024 Panini Prism WNBA Signatures Gold Vinyl Prism Caitlin Clark signed rookie, 1 of 1. There's only one of these in existence. It was a PSA Gem Mint 10.
Let's put this into context. Prior to Clark making her mark, the record for the highest-selling women's sports card was held by tennis icon Serena Williams, with her card fetching $266,400. What's even more impressive about Serena's card is that it included a piece of her match-worn gear. Now, Clark's card, which only features her signature and a flawless card, no jersey swatch or equipment piece, shattered Serena's record by an impressive $100,000.
We had the record for a WNBA card. This passes the record for a woman's sports card period that was previously held by a Serena Williams card, and this was sold for about $100,000 more than the Serena Williams card.
What makes this even more incredible is how fast it all happened. Clark has barely finished her rookie season, yet most athletes take years, or even their entire careers, to achieve this level of value in the collector's market. But Clark? She's rewriting the playbook faster than she sinks three-pointers.
It sold for $366 freaking $1,000. I mean, wow. What can you say about this? That almost leaves me speechless.
The card itself is a masterpiece. Its gold vinyl finish glimmers in the light, giving it an almost lifelike quality. Her signature is flawlessly positioned, and the card's immaculate condition earned it the prestigious PSA 10 grade. Any collector knows that the one-of-one label is what sends bidding wars into overdrive at auctions.
The cost of her trading cards is, again, evidence of this. And her most recent one went for a record.
But there's something much bigger at play here. This isn't just about a beautiful basketball card. Card experts see it as something far more profound. It's about owning a piece of what many consider a pivotal moment in women's sports history. People aren't just collecting a card, they're investing in a cultural revolution.
It is a 2024 Prism Gold Vinyl Rookie 1-of-1 Auto, which means it's autographed. 1-of-1 obviously means it's the only one in existence, and someone paid $366,000 for it.
Remember when Michael Jordan rookie cards skyrocketed in value? It wasn't just because they were rare. It was because people saw they were witnessing history in real time. The same thing is happening with Clark right now. Collectors aren't just betting on a rookie, they're betting on a revolution.
A new record for a female athlete. Caitlin is the needle. There we go. I think I just said that. Smashed the old record held by Serena by $100,000.
The previous owner snagged this card for $236,000 just 4 months ago. In less time than it takes most people to pay off a car loan, it surged in value by $130,000. That's not your typical appreciation, that's a financial rocket ship.
This one was $130,000 more expensive than the previous high.
What makes this card truly stand out isn't just that it's shattering price records, it's creating an entirely new market. Before Clark came along, women's sports cards barely registered on most collectors' radars. Now, they're the hottest commodity in the hobby, with dealers scrambling for inventory and collectors racing to build their Clark collections before prices soar even higher.
What is it going to be like? Look, what are these cards going to be like in 5 years when she's got a championship, a couple of MVPs in there, etc., etc.?
This meteoric rise has completely shaken up the collecting world. Shops that once tucked their WNBA boxes out of sight are now proudly showcasing them front and center. Online forums that barely acknowledged women's basketball now have entire sections dedicated to Clark cards, complete with discussions and price tracking.
I'm fairly confident we're headed towards a $500,000 card at some point. We're not that far away now. I mean, we're We're $140,000 away now.
Those shop owners aren't just rearranging their displays for fun. They're scrambling to keep up with history in the making. What's happening with Caitlin Clark's cards is nothing short of unprecedented. She doesn't just hold the most valuable WNBA card ever. She owns the top 30 most valuable WNBA cards in history. Let that sink in for a moment. Not just the number 1 spot, but the entire top 30. Such market dominance is unheard of in any sport, male or female.
Clark has the top 30 WNBA cards, at least. So, and the boxes for WNBA cards, like the one over my shoulder, are selling at the same level or at a higher price than NBA cards, because that Caitlin Clark rookie is in there.
Clark doesn't just have the top WNBA card, she has the top 30 at least. The boxes for WNBA cards, like the one sitting right here, are now selling at the same level, if not higher, than NBA card boxes, because that Caitlin Clark rookie is inside. And if you think this is just a case of collector mania, here's the real kicker. WNBA card boxes are now fetching the same prices, or even higher, than NBA boxes at many stores. This is unprecedented in sports card history. Boxes that couldn't give away a year ago are now prized treasures, with shop owners who once stashed their WNBA stock in dusty corners now showcasing them front and center. And the best part? They're still selling out within hours of hitting the shelves, breaking records as they go.
But you want to boycott the one player, looking right at you, Angel Reese and Asia Wilson, one player that has caused the revenue to go way up in the monetary values. That's what you want to do. You think you're helping these women?
The NBA civil war has officially begun. On one side, Asia Wilson and her supporters are reportedly urging fans to boycott Caitlin Clark's games. On the other side, millions of new fans, brought to women's basketball by Caitlin's rise, are baffled by any attempts to undermine the star.
It's what they're mad about. 41 nationally televised games, and they are furious over it. I can't understand.
The league has never been more popular. Fever games are filling arenas. ESPN is airing more WNBA content than ever, and social media is buzzing about women's basketball. Yet, instead of embracing this growth, some players and their fans seem set on resisting it. The true motive behind the boycott effort reveals an uncomfortable reality about fame, jealousy, and the future of women's sports.
The original fans, activist fans, that's what they are, all right? Just keeping it real. They don't like the fact that you want to watch these games. They don't like the fact that you are 3 or 4 times the amount of them.
Have you seen what's unfolding in the WNBA right now? A full-blown civil war is erupting among fans over Caitlin Clark getting 41 nationally televised games this season, more than any other player in the league. The tension has hit a boiling point, and it's causing rifts nobody expected.
Right here, Caitlin Clark in the Fever will have more nationally televised game than any NBA player this year. Sorry, LeBron. Sorry, Luka. Sorry, every other player in the league. Let's be honest. I've seen the NBA ratings. She's beaten most of them.
Some WNBA fans are actually planning to boycott Indiana Fever games in an effort to lower viewership numbers. Can you believe that? They're deliberately trying to reduce the audience just because they think Caitlin Clark is getting too much attention. And it's not just random trolls online. People within the WNBA media ecosystem are promoting the idea that fans should illegally stream games or avoid watching Fever games altogether.
So they're all mad right now, furious, and my goodness, guys, they're talking boycott. Oh, what? Oh, there's strength in numbers. There's tens of you.
What's truly staggering about this situation are the numbers. Caitlin Clark will appear on national TV more than any NBA player this year. Not just any WNBA player, but any NBA player, period. LeBron James, Luka, Stephen Curry, these global superstars are getting less TV time than a WNBA rookie. That's completely unprecedented in basketball history.
And yes, I understand. This is a very, very small minority. It is a very small minority of people. but it is a loud, vocal minority. And this is not the general public. This is not the general population.
For years, a dedicated but small group of hardcore fans has been the driving force behind WNBA discussions, supporting the league through thick and thin, often when no one else was paying attention. But now, millions of new fans are flooding in, many of whom have never watched women's basketball before, and they're shifting everything, from how the league operates to who gets the spotlight.
We're not supposed to talk about it out loud, maybe. That's a massive part. Straight white girl's a big part of it too. I mean, it's out loud. It's out loud. It just came out of my mouth like that. Just easy peasy. So they're mad, and they are calling for boycotts.
When you look at what's really going on, the boycott movement exposes an uncomfortable truth. Some longtime WNBA supporters would rather see lower viewership than watch Caitlin Clark succeed. They're willing to harm the league's growth just to make a point. WNBA media figures have expressed shock at these calls, highlighting that this vocal minority doesn't reflect the views of most fans.
The Slows are now planning to, quote, boycott Indiana Fever games to affect the viewership. They really think they matter in the big scheme of things.
The reality is, we're witnessing a classic case of gatekeeping. Longtime fans who feel a sense of ownership over a niche interest are suddenly watching it go mainstream and feeling threatened by the influx of newcomers.
It's just mad. And what they have now trying to do is they are trying to boycott Indiana Fever games. I'm not joking when I say this. They are literally saying, boycott Indiana. We need to all boycott the Indiana Fever games so they don't get more national TV games. We don't get more national TV games next year.
Critics of the boycott movement argue how counterproductive it is. By deliberately lowering viewership numbers, fans aren't just targeting Caitlin Clark. They're potentially jeopardizing the financial future of every player in the league. This boycott could have unintended consequences that affect the entire landscape of women's basketball.
I cannot believe it. And again, this is a minority of people, but the problem is the idiotic minority somehow a lot of them somehow have ins with WNBA players, WNBA teams and stuff. I cannot believe it.
When you trace the money in professional sports, it becomes clear how self-defeating this boycott really is. Before Caitlin Clark, WNBA games were lucky to attract 200,000 viewers. Now, they're drawing over 1 million, and that five-fold increase isn't just a number. It represents life-changing money for every player in the league.
That equivalent, I just can't believe it. But they're reasoning for boycotting the Fever games. They're literally saying, we should illegally stream the games when the Fever play our team. And I'm like, one, you are not a big enough percentage of the population for it to have any effect.
Let me break down how this works. The WNBA doesn't just randomly set players' salaries. They're directly linked to something called media rights deals. These are huge contracts that networks like ESPN, ABC, and CBS pay to broadcast games. And what determines how much these networks will pay? Viewership numbers. More viewers mean more advertising revenue, which leads to higher payouts for broadcasting rights.
All that does is harm the players. No matter who you are, what team you are a fan of, if you want the players to make more money.
Right now, the WNBA is in the midst of negotiating its next media rights deal, and this is the absolute worst time for fans to be talking about boycotts. Networks are seeing the viewership spikes from Caitlin Clark and are eyeing those numbers as a goldmine. They're prepared to pay much more than they did before she joined the league. Those million-plus viewer games aren't just benefiting Clark. They're raising the potential salary cap for every player in the league.
They're actively trying to ungrow the game. And it's madness. It's absolutely madness. They're threatening to boycott the Fever games. All 257 of them threatening to boycott Fever games like it makes any difference. These people are not fans of basketball. These people are actually not fans of the WNBA.
Think about this. Games featuring Caitlin Clark are drawing 5 to 10 times more viewers than the league's average before. What does that mean? Networks might be willing to pay 5 to 10 times more for broadcasting rights. This is exactly what the WNBA has been striving for since day one. The kind of mainstream attention that brings in serious money.
They just don't like Caitlin Clark. Like, this is genuinely, it's nothing to do with basketball. And it's nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, the person. There's no rhyme or reason to it, because I don't think there is a harder person to dislike.
Here's where the boycott idea becomes incredibly ironic. Many of the same fans calling for boycotts have been the loudest advocates for better pay for WNBA players, highlighting the salary disparities between male and female athletes. Now that there's finally a player bringing in the viewership that could help close that gap, they want to tank the numbers. It just doesn't add up.
They just don't like Caitlin Clark. It's a personal thing, and they will literally. These people, again, they're not fans of basketball, they're not fans of the WNBA, they're not fans of any teams. They just don't like Caitlin Clark.
What's especially frustrating is how short-sighted the boycott supporters are being. They don't seem to realize that higher viewership creates a positive feedback loop for the entire league's economy. More viewers lead to more ticket sales, more jersey and merchandise purchases, and increased interest from sponsors. The whole economic ecosystem of women's basketball becomes stronger.
I don't think they understand there's no viewership before Clark. So if they boycott, would it really move the needle?
And all this new money doesn't just go to one player, it benefits everyone. A rising tide lifts all boats. The revenue from these media deals gets spread across the league, boosting salary caps and minimum salaries for every player. Veterans who've been grinding for years on smaller contracts could finally earn the kind of money they deserve.
And it's a situation where they move the goalpost. They'll always move the goalpost. You're seeing like prominent figures in the WNBA media-ish space. And the reason I say media-ish space is the Twitter trolls somehow interact with the damn actual media in a two-way conversations every day. It's mental.
Despite all the financial benefits Caitlin Clark brings to every player in the league, there's an uncomfortable truth we can't ignore. Would any other sports fans ever try to boycott their most popular player? Can you picture NFL fans organizing to avoid Patrick Mahomes games or NBA viewers refusing to watch LeBron? The double standard here isn't just surprising. It exposes something much deeper about how success is treated in women's sports.
Also, Complex has put out their 10 most influential women in sports. And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1.
Caitlin Clark did it again. As if shattering records on the court wasn't enough, she just scored another huge victory without even having to tie up her sneakers. Complex just crowned her the most influential female athlete, solidifying her place as the biggest name in sports at the moment. And the best part? She edged out Angel Reese, who, predictably, isn't taking it too well.
So, it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of, just moving on has been something I've tried to give myself a little bit of grace.
That's right. While Clark is out here racking up awards, growing the game, and making history, Reese is busy scrambling for excuses, pretending like this honor doesn't matter. But let's be honest, if Reese had won, we'd never hear the end of it. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, she's doing what she does best, downplaying Clark's accomplishments while spending more time on TikTok than in the gym.
Announcing the top 10 most influential athletes right now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark, check. Breaking records, Caitlin Clark, check. Proving their impact goes far beyond the game, from sold-out arenas to game-changing moves in business and fashion. These women are leading the way. If this is a top 10 list, then sitting on the top of that list, there's only one right answer. There's only one correct choice.
Let's set the record straight. This isn't just about an award. It's about who the fans are really backing. One player has everyone tuning in for her mind-blowing talent, and the other, well, she's famous for making headlines for everything but basketball. Some see this as a rivalry, but let's be real. It's not much of a competition when one player is actually winning.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm cool. The pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool, I can just hoop. So I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, oh,
I'm still a rookie. I'm still figuring it out. Trying to figure things out.
All right, let's break it all down. Why did Clark take home this award? What makes her influence so undeniable? And most importantly, why is Angel Reese acting like she got robbed? We're about to dive into the numbers, the impact, and the hilarious aftermath.
And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. I think it's hilarious. I will tell you right off the bat, I don't believe there's a singular world, where Angel Reese should be ahead of Simone Biles either. There, I put that out loud.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break records, she obliterated them. 62 records shattered in a single season. Let that sink in. This isn't just about making history, it's about rewriting the entire record book. No player in WNBA history has ever dominated like this, and we're only in year 1.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the Fever rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Clark didn't just put up insane numbers, she actually changed the trajectory of an entire franchise. Before she showed up, the Indiana Fever were stuck at the bottom of the league, barely staying relevant. Then Caitlin Clark walked in, and boom, they made the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. That's not just individual greatness, that's team-changing dominance.
The woman who's been putting women's basketball on her back for the better part of 3 years now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark has men watching women's basketball.
Let's talk off-court impact, because this is where Clark leaves the so-called rivals in the dust. WNBA merch sales shot up 500% in her rookie season. Yes, 500%. Jerseys, t-shirts, memorabilia, everything was flying off the shelves. Meanwhile, Reese's jerseys just sitting there collecting dust while Clark's sold out in minutes.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon.
This isn't just about jersey sales. Clark's influence is shaking up the whole league's economy. Viewership is through the roof. Arenas that once struggled to fill seats are now packed, but only when Clark's in town. Teams that used to beg for fans are now scrambling to expand seating to keep up with the demand.
So that's what they got on her. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number 1. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number 1. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. That's right. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Clark's impact is undeniable. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105%.
Even sports economists are stunned by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, a top name in sports business, called her a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her to Michael Jordan for how she's boosting the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's spot on.
Because when we went to the WNBA games and we went to go watch Caitlin Clark when they came to play the Washington Mystics in DC, and they shut that they had to move the game from the Washington Mystics WNBA arena to the actual Washington arena where the Wizards played, and it was packed. It was sold out for people to see Caitlin Clark. That did not happen the day before that when they went to Chicago to play Angel Reese.
Let's talk real numbers. Clark's rookie season alone raked in a jaw-dropping $36 million for Indianapolis. Just one player did that, and it's only the start. Experts predict her rise will boost women's basketball's value by $1.6 billion over the next 3 years. Yes, billion with a B.
I'm going to look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league. getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number 1 pick. They were the worst team last year, and there is value that I can attach to that.
So, what does all this mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar, she's a movement. She's doing more than dominating on the court. She's reshaping the entire league's future, bringing in new fans, generating massive revenue, and making women's basketball must-watch TV.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlin Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she is doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still sitting there trying to figure out why she wasn't named most influential. Maybe if she spent more time working on her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd get that this is about sports.
This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the 3, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese, stop it. Stop it. There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up. Or on TikTok, he's put together a load of Angel Reese clips. And it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses, bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest shit. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby giraffe.
Caitlin Clark's journey to these awards might seem like a done deal, but the real story is way bigger. Remember Angel Reese? She was hyped as Clark's biggest competition, with the media pushing this so-called rivalry. It was framed as the ultimate showdown, a season-long battle that had fans hooked. But let's be real, was it ever really close?
Saying Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark is saying Rodman was better than Michael Jordan, or Ben Wallace was better than Kobe, or even Andre Drummond was better than LeBron. And I shouldn't have to point out that Angel Reese is actually a poor defender.
From the jump, the media pushed the narrative of 2 rookies battling for WNBA supremacy. But as the season went on, the gap became painfully clear. This wasn't a duel of equals. It was one player dominating the league, while the other spent more time in the headlines than in the box scores.
Oh, Reese! 3-on-3, part 13, let's get it!
Classic long 2.
Bang!
PSA, no rims or backboards were harmed during the filming of this video. But viewers are encouraged to look away.
Bang!
What?
Bang!
I heard her say that she might sit out if the WNBA doesn't pay her what she deserves. I say $1 million for every missed layup is fair.
Bang!
They are stat petting queen properly. Fair wages for all. I repeat, fair wages. Remember, they're coming to see her. Long 2, butter pecan.
Bang!
Then came Rookie of the Year and First Team All-WNBA, and that's when it all came to light. Clark didn't just win, she ran away with it. The so-called competition wasn't even close. As for Reese, she wasn't exactly graceful in defeat. Instead of congratulating Clark, she hit social media to claim Clark didn't deserve the honor. Imagine losing a race by a mile and then demanding a recount.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that.
But here's the real kicker. Clark's success isn't about trophies or petty rivalries. She's not out here chasing awards. She's revolutionizing the WNBA. Her impact goes far beyond basketball. She's expanding the game, shattering attendance records, and bringing in millions of new fans. Meanwhile, Reese is stuck trying to convince everyone she belongs in the same conversation as Clark. The difference? Clark is changing the game. Reese is just trying to catch up.
Indiana Fever preseason has officially come, and it has officially gone.
The Indiana Fever did finish the WNBA preseason undefeated.
Caitlin Clark is launching shots from ranges that seem almost illegal for a basketball court, while Lexi Hull continues to carve out a reputation as the Fever's go-to weapon in crunch time. As one insider put it, I think Caitlin Clark may have even extended her range. She's making those deep shots look effortless.
The Indiana Fever close out the preseason 3-0. Victory against the Mystics, victory against the Brazilian national team, and another victory this afternoon against the Atlanta Dream.
In their final preseason matchup, the Fever wrapped up an undefeated 3-0 run, but not without some tense moments. A concerning injury to a core player and unexpected remarks from their Atlanta Dream rivals added drama to the win. From standout performances to surprising twists, here's the full breakdown of how Indiana closed out their perfect preseason in Atlanta.
When I watch the Fever, even when they're not at their best, one thing I can't help but think is that they're just going to run teams off the floor and destroy them with their firepower. They just have so many players that can beat you and can score. And, Dewana Bonner didn't even start this game. Sophie Cunningham started in her place.
Did you know Caitlin Clark was nearly sidelined for the Fever's final preseason game? Less than 24 hours before tip-off against the Atlanta Dream, Fever fans were anxiously refreshing their social media feeds, desperate for updates. The reason? Clark had collided with a practice player during the team's final workout, striking the same leg that had already been strained. The news took everyone by surprise.
They're just doing a drill, and if you're looking what happens here. Caitlin Clark pulls up. Caitlin Clark pulls up immediately. And a lot of people are saying that it's not the end of the world.
Picture the scene. The Fever's medical staff hurrying to assess their star rookie as the team's perfect preseason record hung in the balance. 2 wins, 0 losses, and now their top player was on the bench, ice pack on her leg. Fans began to worry if this was a sign of things to come. Was the pressure of the pro game already setting in? As the medical team conducted their evaluation, social media lit up with speculation. Would Clark miss the final preseason game? Could this affect her readiness for the regular season opener? With every minute, the questions only grew.
Coach just mentioned you've been limited in practice this week. Just how are you kind of working back from that leg injury?
Yeah, I think taking my time. I feel really good, honestly, and excited to get out there and play again tomorrow, work on things that we need to work on. And yeah, Maria's been great. Our medical staff has been really helpful. But I feel really good, honestly.
Then came the announcement that sent a wave of relief through the Fever fan base. Clark was cleared to play. Not only would she suit up, but she'd be in the starting lineup. Just like that, the injury scare faded into the background, becoming a footnote instead of the headline.
There's no reason to overdo anything right now. It's been the beginning of the season. Still don't play here for another week, but the last 2 days have been really, really good for myself.
You know what started? What caused it to get her?
I don't. Probably just a little too much basketball. I think, I love being in the gym, but I think understanding when to be in the gym and, when to recover and things like that. So I think just finding a balance and obviously just getting back into the swing of things. But yeah, it was nothing major or anything like that.
From the opening moments, it was obvious Clark wasn't holding back. She fired off shots from distances that left defenders looking powerless. WNBA analyst Robin Lundberg of Sports Illustrated took to X with a bold observation. I think Caitlin Clark may have even increased her range. She is shooting the deep ones like they are nothing.
Guards it. So second attempt, same spot, same result for Maya Caldwell. That's Caitlin Clark, top of the key, and drains her first triple of...
One particular three-pointer, launched from near the logo, instantly brought back memories of Clark's iconic shot just a week earlier at Iowa. Atlanta's defenders could do little more than watch as the ball soared high and splashed cleanly through the net. This wasn't just a rookie easing into the pro game. This was Caitlin Clark making a statement. By the final buzzer, she had silenced all doubts, finishing with 13 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds in just 23 minutes.
Natasha Howard gets the bucket. Step back triple. Kelsey Mitchell to the rim. Well, that's Caitlin Clark, top of the key, and drains her triple.
As the final buzzer sealed an 81-76 win over Atlanta, the Fever had done something noteworthy, a flawless 3-0 preseason sweep. What began with a scare ended with rising optimism about what this team could accomplish once the real games begin. With the score tight heading into the fourth, an unexpected hero stepped up for Indiana, and it wasn't Caitlin Clark. The spotlight turned to Lexi Hull, who had been steadily refining her game all preseason while adapting to a new role off the bench. It's worth noting that Hull closed out last season as a starter, proving to be a dependable two-way player, and, during that stretch, the league's hottest three-point shooter.
And now BG says she's rediscovered her love for the game, saying Atlanta reminds me of home. I'm back in the South, and this was the best decision of my life.
She is completely fine, just needing rest, so we will not see her for the rest of this ball game.
Yeah, we can't give out all our weapons.
Turnover as Matt Caldwell got a little too deep in.
However, with the arrival of new all-star free agent additions, Hull has embraced a bench role this season. But in this game, something felt different. There was a new confidence in her stride, a sharpness in her movements that turned heads. This wasn't the same player fans had seen before. This was someone poised to take over.
I think more than anything, just being able to practice with our team. We're getting a lot of good reps in practice, and I think confidence comes from that. Confidence comes from getting the reps, the game-like reps, over and over again in practice. And our team's super competitive, so every single day that we've had of training camp so far has felt pretty much game-like. Like we're all taking it very serious, and it starts in practice.
The Atlanta Dream kept pressing, challenging the Fever on every possession and putting their perfect preseason run in jeopardy. The tension inside the arena was palpable. Would Indiana's spotless record hold up? That's when Hull stepped up and took control. When the Fever needed offense the most, she answered with striking efficiency, slicing through defenders as if the lanes appeared just for her. She pulled up for contested mid-range jumpers like the defense wasn't even there. One standout moment saw her split two Dream defenders and glide in for a smooth finish at the rim.
Just like, nah, shoot that thing when you open.
Lexi Hull getting downhill, finds the bucket and one, as this will be the largest lead for Indiana.
Her impact extended far beyond the scoreboard. Hull's defensive energy disrupted Atlanta's rhythm, forcing turnovers and sparking fast break chances. Her court vision consistently set up teammates for easy looks. The Dream had no answer for Hull's relentless effort in the closing minutes. After the game, head coach Stephanie White offered a glimpse into Hull's growth, shedding light on what fans had just witnessed. When you accept your role, as Lexi does, you can't allow it to put you in a box, right? White said, emphasizing how Hull had fully embraced her responsibilities while continuing to elevate her overall game.
Lexi's playing with such a high level of confidence. You saw that the second half of last season, her starting to grow into that. I think you saw it a lot in Unrivaled as well. It unlocked, I think, a little bit of creativity. I think sometimes when you're a young player in this league, when you accept your role, as Lexi does, you can't allow it to put you in a box, right? Like your role can change throughout the course of a season. Your role can change throughout the course of career.
White highlighted Hull's growing creativity and the team's rising confidence in her decision-making. She's done a really good job of putting herself in position for that, the coach noted, clearly proud of Hull's development. Hull, in turn, credited the team's competitive practice environment for her clutch performance. Confidence comes from getting the reps, the game-like reps, over and over again in practice, she explained. She also pointed to her experience winning a championship in the Elite 3-on-3 League, which she said helped sharpen both her defensive instincts and one-on-one skills.
that it's going to be an exciting season. I think more than anything, we're a deep team, and I think everyone's really bought into trusting the process this season. You know, it might not start off super pretty, but we know that putting in the work, putting in, you know, trust into the coaching staff, trusting each other, that by the end of the season we'll be exactly where we want to be. So just excited, you know, with the progress we've made even over just 3 games.
By the final buzzer, Hull had gone from role player to game changer, dropping 11 of her 14 points in the pivotal fourth quarter to help seal the victory. The stat sheet backed it up. Hull scoring under pressure was exactly what the Fever needed to close out the game. Her performance wasn't just impressive, it may very well reshape the entire dynamic of Indiana's rotation heading into the regular season.
Lexi does. You can't allow it to put you in a box, right? Like your role can change throughout the course of a season. Your role can change throughout the course of career. So you want to be able to stretch and expand. And I think Lexi's done a really good job of putting herself in position for that. You know, running actions for her. You know, allowing her to decision make. Hell, I think in the Washington game we had her playing some point. You know, so it's a tribute to the work that she's put in, the confidence that she's built with her discipline and work ethic in the off season. And you trust her on the floor. You trust her to make the right play and make the right read.
With Hull emerging as a dependable clutch performer off the bench, the Fever suddenly looked much deeper than many had anticipated. In a single game, she may have shifted from being a valuable contributor to becoming an exclamation point in Indiana's push to make a statement this season. But the game wasn't without its tense moments, one of which showed a side of Caitlin Clark that fans hope they rarely have to see. Midway through the second quarter, Clark drew attention for something other than her signature shooting. She picked up a technical foul, a moment that revealed just how fiercely competitive she truly is.
Make it 12-3 run as they are now just down 1 point.
Picture the moment. Clark fires a bounce pass, only to see it intercepted by the Dream and turned into a fast break layup by Brianna Jones. Clark clearly felt there should have been a foul on the play. Her frustration erupted. She grabbed the ball and fired it against the base of the hoop. The whistle was immediate. Technical foul on Clark, her first of the preseason. What happened next spoke volumes about the team chemistry already taking shape in Indiana. Sophie Cunningham, known for her own intense competitive spirit, stepped in as the calming force. As Clark continued to argue with the refs, Cunningham quickly pulled her aside, defusing the situation before it escalated. In that moment, she took on the role of veteran protector, ensuring the rookie star didn't land in deeper trouble.
Cunningham actually stepped on somebody's foot and turned her ankle and had to leave the game.
Here's where things took a turn. Not long after stepping in to calm Clark, Cunningham found herself in a tough spot of her own. In the third quarter, she leapt for a rebound and came down awkwardly on Rhyne Howard's foot. The moment she landed, it was clear something was wrong. Cunningham dropped to the court, then limped over to the Fever bench, visibly in pain. The injury was later diagnosed as a right ankle issue, and she was listed as doubtful to return.
Hopefully the Fever are fully healthy going into that game. Hopefully Sophie Cunningham is good to go in that game. I know she was seen in a walking boot afterwards, but that's typical. It clearly wasn't a serious injury, but it doesn't mean it's going to be healthy a week from today either.
Fever fans held their breath. Could this injury affect the team's regular season outlook? Post-game, Coach Stephanie White offered some reassurance, sharing that Cunningham had told her, "I'll be fine." White added that Cunningham was already in a cold tub after the game, indicating the team was taking swift action to jumpstart recovery. Still, no official testing had been done on the ankle yet, leaving a bit of uncertainty as the season opener approaches.
I don't think so. She was in there getting in a cold tub, so she keeps saying I'll be fine, so I trust her.
Despite the tense and concerning moments, the game also showcased powerful acts of sportsmanship, reminding everyone what makes certain teams stand out. Before and after the final buzzer, players from both sides exchanged genuine gestures of respect. Hugs and heartfelt conversations between opponents proved that intense competition doesn't have to come at the expense of real connection. One especially meaningful moment, captured on camera, came between Caitlin Clark and Brittany Griner. Though the two stars spent little time on the court together, they shared a warm embrace after the game. Fans took notice, with one commenting, "Great respect from Clark and Griner." These subtle exchanges play a big role in shaping the culture of the league. The technical foul on Clark revealed more than just frustration. It showed the depth of her competitive fire and the strength of the Fever's team chemistry. We saw a rookie who refuses to back down, surrounded by veterans who know how to guide that intensity. At the same time, Cunningham's injury left fans wondering whether she'll be available for the season opener against Chicago.
We did a better job of taking care of the ball in the second half. I was disappointed that we had 10 first half turnovers. A lot of them were trying to force things that just weren't there. I didn't feel like we were patient enough to get into our offense. So we did a better job of taking care of the ball. I always love when we have a high assist to made field goal ratio. I think we're going to find a lot of success when that happens for us. Quality depth, they came in and made impact, no doubt. And being able to, hold a team to 34% from the field. All points of emphasis for us. And even though it's not always that pretty, it's progress, and that's what we need.
These moments of drama and sportsmanship captured the essence of what makes the WNBA truly special: an elite level of competition paired with authentic respect. The Fever showed they have the intensity to contend at the highest level without losing the class and camaraderie that strengthen relationships across the league. Fans didn't just witness standout performances. They saw a team beginning to shape its identity, competitive, passionate, and grounded in respect for the game and its opponents. The preseason has come to a close, and the Indiana Fever have officially put the league on alert with their flawless 3-0 record. But this isn't just about winning exhibition games. It's about catching early glimpses of something special taking shape in Indiana, perhaps earlier than anyone expected. The chemistry between Clark, Hull, Boston, Mitchell, and the rest of the roster has at times looked seamless. Now, the real test begins. Can this momentum carry into the grind of the regular season? Teams around the league have been analyzing film, especially on Clark, crafting tailored defensive schemes designed to throw her off rhythm and reduce her impact.
Please welcome to the show, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin, did you ever
What's
think
up,
you'd
guys?
be back? Cheers.
Excited to be
Cheers.
back. Don't worry. I got this nice throwback Gatorade can.
Well played.
Caitlin Clark just surprised everyone in a way no one expected, doing it live on Zoom during an unfiltered interview with WNBA icons Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi. From the moment she appeared on screen, it was obvious this wouldn't be your usual heartwarming segment. It was unvarnished, authentic, and gave a behind-the-scenes look at everything from her transition to the WNBA, to locker room gossip, to the intense rivalries in those tough college games. And, of course, it all came with Caitlin's trademark wit and charisma.
Product placement.
There we
Will
go.
Our show loves it. Our show loves it.
So, what exactly did Caitlin Clark spill, and why is the basketball world buzzing? Stick around, because Caitlin didn't hold back on a lot of juicy details. Everything from Paige Beckers to Diana Taurasi, and even calling out the unfounded rumors Sheryl Swoopes has been spreading about the team. Ready for it? Let's dive in. It was the moment that shook the internet. 1 year ago, Diana Taurasi stared into the camera and delivered a now iconic warning to Caitlin Clark. Reality is coming. Remember that?
What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
Fast forward to this year, and let's just say Diana's words didn't quite hold up. Caitlin's response? A sly smirk, a slight nod, and a confident smile. The vibe was electric, sharp, playful, and full of wit. But don't be fooled. it was also a statement.
Congrats on your retirement, D.
Thank you.
And congrats.
Now, unfortunately,
Well,
reality
thanks.
is coming to me now.
What's your big plans?
in early.
What are you gonna do?
You know, I keep telling Sue I thought I was going to have all this time to do all these things. I'm more busy now. So if I give you any advice, play as long as possible.
We'll see. We'll get to 10 years. Then we'll think about it.
It's 10 years.
For Diana Taurasi, sharing the court with Caitlin Clark wasn't just another game. It was a moment for the ages. Looking back on their first matchup in Phoenix, Taurasi didn't mince words about the atmosphere. It felt like the last game that was ever going to be played. The crowd was electric, the hype was real, and it wasn't just about basketball. It was about seeing a torch being passed right before our eyes, she shared. Diana spoke with deep respect, reflecting on how surreal it was to finally face the players she'd been watching dominate college basketball for years.
What was it like for you two to play against each other?
It was amazing. You know, I've been following Caitlin for so long and been watching her college career just in awe. And to be on the court and, you know, the first game was in Phoenix and it felt like the last game that was ever going to be played. There was such anticipation. The crowd was going crazy. All the people that came out to see Caitlin and you know, our teams play against each other. It really was an amazing moment. And you talked about how, you know, if you could play against anyone that is this new generation. So I got to cross paths with Caitlin, at least for a couple games. And to me, that meant a lot, you know?
Caitlin's perspective, just as classy, but with her signature edge. She remembered that Phoenix game too. Except for her, it was personal. We were down by like 10 or 15 and came all the way back to win, she recalled, pride clear in her voice. That comeback wasn't just another line on the scoreboard. It was a defining moment for her and her team. Battling against a legend like Taurasi and coming out victorious? That's the kind of experience that builds confidence, and Caitlin made sure everyone knew it.
And what it was like to play against D.
Well, I was saying, like, that game in Phoenix, because we only played in Phoenix one time. And it was before Olympic break. Obviously, we had All-Star there too, but it was a great game. Honestly, I'm pretty sure we were down like 10 or 15 and came all the way back and won. That was like our first like win versus a team that was above 500. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Beneath all the fierce competition, there was a deep mutual respect. The moment transcended being just another game. It became a clash of eras, unfolding right before our eyes. While Caitlin and Diana might be at different points in their careers, the impact they're both having, that's something that will last forever. As they laughed and joked about the experience, it was clear. This wasn't just playful banter, it was basketball's past and future coming together in perfect harmony.
Caitlin, how excited are you for this next WNBA season? New head coach and Stephanie White. You added Natasha Howard, who Sue knows really well, DeWanna Bonner, which I know really well, Sophie Cunningham. I mean, it seems like, you know, from the outside, this roster's ready to compete now, which is easy for us to say. We know there's a process to get there, but like when you see that and you see those names come in, what does that make you feel like?
Caitlin Clark is heading into the new WNBA season with more than just momentum. She's bringing the heat. When talking about her revamped roster, her excitement was impossible to miss. With new head coach Stephanie White, seasoned veterans like Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner, sharpshooters like Sophie Cunningham, and defensive powerhouses like Sydney Colson and Brianna Turner, Caitlin knows the talent on her team. But she's also aware of the challenges ahead. With 7 new players and a tight timeline to build chemistry, Caitlin's already in full figure-it-out mode, and she's ready to tackle it head-on.
Oh, well, I mean, obviously on paper we have a really good team, but, you know, you only have, I mean, we start training camp, I think, on the 27th, and then, like, we have a back-to-back of preseason games on May 3rd and May 4th. So it's like, you have a very short amount of time to put that together, and 7 new pieces, and whether we carry 11 or 12, like, more than half of our roster, like, that's, you know, that's a hard thing within itself, but we should be pretty good. And like, I'm excited about it. I think what we needed was, you know, we added a lot more experience. Like in the playoffs, we just didn't have that. We were a young group.
And it's not just her mental game that's been getting stronger. Her physical game has leveled up too. When asked about that viral off-season photo where her arms looked noticeably more defined, Caitlin couldn't help but laugh.
And there was the viral picture that went around showing off your guns. Everyone's wondering Have you been hitting
I
the
think
weight room? Was it the camera angle? What happened?
It was
there?
the-
How did you do that? I've been trying to do that for 20 years.
AI is getting out of control. Come on.
Caitlin Clark wasn't just hitting the weight room to look good in a photo. She was preparing to become an even more dominant force on the court. Every hour spent in the gym was about strengthening her body to match her fierce mentality. It wasn't just about bulking up. It was about becoming more powerful, more relentless, and untouchable when the game was on the line. But Caitlin didn't stop at physical strength. She refined her entire skill set. She focused on adding a floater to her arsenal, powering through contact at the rim, and mastering the mid-range game. This wasn't casual training. It was a deliberate plan to evolve into an unguardable offensive weapon. Caitlin isn't just preparing to keep up with the competition, she's training to take over. Every move, every shot, was with the intention of dominating in ways we've never seen before.